Today, we're going to be talking about the SEO growth playbooks of highly successful Y Combinator startups. Hi, I'm Ross Hudgens, founder and CEO of Siege Media. We're a 100-person content marketing agency that's been lucky enough to work with several great Y Combinator startups in the past, including Airbnb, Asana, and People.ai. Each of these companies have specific things about them and what they benefit from that gives them a leg up from SEO standpoint. These same things can factor into your own business in their own unique ways, even if you can't exactly port them into a one-to-one comparable for your own business. If you want more videos like this and you're liking the progress so far, make sure you jam that subscribe button, give us a like. Hopefully we'll be on the same growth hockey stick as many of those Y Combinator startups. So one of the first things that Y Combinator startups benefit from is their proximity to their homepage. So if you look at Y Combinator's homepage and you scroll down a bit, you'll see a full inventory of their startups. And what this does is it passes internal link value to their websites in addition to the brand value that, of course, they benefit from in doing this. So not all of them are linked to from the homepage, but most of them are one click away. And when your Y Combinator has got so many links from CNN, the New York Times, this is a highly valuable link for these websites. And that naturally puts them in a great position to immediately get a boost simply by being part of the Y Combinator family. Whether or not Y Combinator knows this or not is yet to be seen. But the kind of takeaway here is for you and your business, even if you're not part of Y Combinator, if you're part of another accelerator or another kind of cohort of people generally, most of the time there'll be a third-party website that will link to companies that participate in that. These websites can highly benefit you from a search standpoint and get you a link that, unless you're a part of that company, will benefit you in a way that your competitors can't copy. So the thing to lean on there is kind of go to your partner of choice and see, one, are they linking to their partner websites? If not, ask them. Additionally, see if you can get them to link to you on their homepage, or otherwise make sure they're linking to that page where their directory is listed site-wide and from their homepage as well. This will pass a lot of value to you as a partner. So an example of this is TinySeed. I'm lucky enough to be an investor in that company, and they have a SaaS set of bootstrapped companies that aren't trying to go gigantic as part of their program. And what they did is they added all those startups to their homepage, and no, this won't scale, but they can slowly pass value to these companies as TinySeed grows in value. That value will be passed to their startups as well. So one of the next things these startups benefit from is a very clear PR plan. As you can see from this tweet from Andrew, it is relatively accurate that the best way to fuel your way to PR success as a startup and a venture-backed one is to ride the wave of that venture investment. And there's no doubt that being a Y Combinator startup gives them an immediate advantage to getting that press and links to their website and company. So for you, the action point there is to consider this if you're going bootstrap versus Series A and et cetera. In some ways, if you're trying to compete in finance or these very competitive SEO spaces, you better have the most differentiated thing ever to be able to rank. Because ironically, these funding rounds not only bring brand presence, but they also bring that equity that comes from that ladder up to the Series B, C, D, E, which in some ways is also a functioning factor to growth. So if you're trying to win in some of these spaces, sometimes this is its own deliberate SEO link building strategy to consider as part of your growth marketing plan. So how to make this actionable outside of just simply raise the Series E, which I'm sure some people would like to do if they had that opportunity to, is to actually, if you're mid-round or you're part of a company that is mid-round, go to competitors that are in adjacent markets. Go into Ahrefs or SEMrush, etc., and search in their backlink profile for raises as a word. And if you include raises as a word, like we do here, you'll actually see the list of sites that have actually covered their venture raises in the past. So this is a very clear leading function to more coverage. So it's obviously probably easy to get some coverage if you run a Series A or seed round and etc. What's a little bit harder is to make sure you absolutely milk that value for all it's worth. So how to do that here would be to look at all adjacent competitors and look for not just the obvious places like a TechCrunch that might cover this, but also the niche specific publications that are more likely to. And when they do, make sure you follow up, ask them to link to your homepage to give context to their readers, and you'll get the maximum value from this PR push for them. And this natural cycle, again, because of that Y Combinator playbook, gives them a natural advantage from other bootstrap companies that simply being a part of them gives them. And there is equivalent for you if you're part of Techstars or Tiny Seed or another incubator. It'll be a little harder because Y Combinator is the most well known, but TechCrunch still wants to cover most raises. So if you follow this plan, you should still be able to benefit in similar ways. Another thing you can do as a startup that is common to every startup, but also Y Combinator startups, is get included in top startup lists. So how you do this is you simply look at searches such as Austin startups or San Francisco startups, if you're those equivalents, and then look at who has covered that content in the past. First, reach out to them specifically if you believe you fit that common characteristic of a high quality Austin or San Francisco startup and ask them to include you. If it's too late for that, or it's clearly like an old publication, monitor when that occurred, find the writer who's going to cover it, or look to see who's going to cover it next year, and follow up with them preemptively to make your pitch about why you are a popular Austin startup. And what you will benefit from here is when you're included on the first couple versions of these lists that are already ranking on Google for top startups, Austin startups, etc., Y Combinator startups, you will get naturally mentioned in other websites as well. So this is a compounding snowball effect that basically gives this Y Combinator sites a snowball of link equity to start. And they do benefit from simply being Y Combinator in that a lot of these companies will go to their websites to actually find those startups and then list them on these articles. But if you're not in Y Combinator, you can port this strategy if you are at least raising money and qualify as a startup in this way. And the final playbook of these SEO fueled startups is that they get links from investors. So Y Combinator does qualify as an investor, so that's point one. But you can port that same strategy to also any investor that might invest in you. A lot of them will have their own websites. They'll want to link to their funding companies. And in those situations, make sure they're linking out to you and also ask them to prioritize linking to you higher in their architecture to benefit from that link equity if it's higher. So if you're not on the homepage, see if that's feasible. If they're an investor, that's a very reasonable place for them to link to you. If you can make the argument that you'll make them more money by linking to you there, which you very compellingly can if you're caring about SEO, that could actually be done by them. And if that's not done, worst case, ask them to link in the header and also make sure that they link directly to you. Some people will have a 3-step process where they have a portfolio site and then they'll link out to a profile page that then has a link to you. If they remove that step or maybe have that step, but also link to you on step 2 before you go to the full profile, you're more likely to benefit from that equity being higher in the architecture. An additional value add step you can add is when they announce your funding on their own websites from a news release, ask them to link to important pages on your website that normally wouldn't occur in a TechCrunch article. So if you're Airbnb and you have a specific, say, things to do page, you could ask Y Combinator to link to that things to do page in a natural way on that funding page. And they're very likely to oblige there, again, because your incentives are aligned and you're helping them make money. So all in all, hopefully this made a lot of sense about the SEO playbook that is effectively giving these Y Combinator startups an immediate boost in link equity that will power very competitive rankings in very competitive spaces. So if you like this video, definitely give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, check us out on siegemedia.com, and let us know what you thought in the comments. Thanks for watching.